Hey everybody, welcome to G4G on YouTube. Today we're in Marvel Strike Force. We're going to be taking a look at some Graviton orbs. We've got some changes going on with the AIM minions, and we've got Graviton in the game. And we've got a new weekly calendar. So it looks like we have the Sinister Six, which we know is going to be for Invisible Woman. Still going with September. 7-day premium orbs, and then some red star orbs at the end, and a whole bunch of energy. Not really too sure. I didn't notice where it came from, but I'm up at 809 energy. I feel as if I missed something in there somewhere. Don't know where it all came from, but okay. I guess it's time to farm. You know, it's funny that this happens with AIM because I mean, it's not like I knew this was coming. It's not like I ever truly predicted it. It's that I liked Scientist Supreme. I mean, you go back in my old videos and she had positions on teams. I had a very debuff heavy team at one point that was her and Scarlet Witch and Venom. Potentially Spider-Man. And I forget who else. It wasn't the Mystics. They've always been with S.H.I.E.L.D. It was her, Scarlet Witch, Venom, Spider-Man, and then I think I had some other rotating debuffers in there that would kind of drop off as they would get sent up to the big leagues in their own team. And now all those teams have coalesced and has left my poor Scientist Supreme without a really good team. However, being tech, could have gotten some benefits from Rocket Raccoon, although I don't know. But yeah, she's been stagnant for a while because I haven't had a team. But as you can see, she's this far up here. And I swear, this isn't recent. She's always been that way for me. But that's the old Marvel Avengers Alliance player in me talking. A person who just tried to come up with nutty teams based on less than obvious synergies. And she was really good at it. It would always suck, of course, if you put out the heal with the big debuffs and then she put slow on herself and you're like, oh my god, my pattern is gonna go to waste over here. But it was definitely fun for a period of time, getting those debuffs out, flipping the debuffs to buffs on my team, having Venom get out the heal block and then spread it. I had a good pattern for a little while in there, and Handsork was with her for a bit, kind of handling the main healing, whereas Scientist Supreme hit that early healing. But you may be thinking, okay, I kind of gave in. I did a big Scientist Supreme myself. Where is she going to go until my AIM people come in? And that's really anybody who likes debuffs. And that's because of retro vaccination putting out debuffs on mostly everybody, but then field trials flipping it. But we'll get into that. So let's take a look at the actual AIM people, and then we'll get to Graviton, which I don't know if I'm going to get him in one purchase. I didn't realize he was a 100 unlock. So as you can see, this wasn't any big brain fortuitous thinking here. My AIM is absolutely trash, as probably a lot of people's were. I just enjoyed Scientist Supreme. So she has Serum Pistol, which attacks primary targets and applies one random negative effect. At 6 you apply 2, and then at orange you get major damage. Not worth the orange in my opinion. Field Trials is the one where you flip negative effects on allies to positive ones. As an orange, you flip 4 negative effects. I would say that's orange worthy. Yeah, that's pretty good. But right now I have it as flip 3 negative effects into positive for all allies, apply 2 regenerations to self and all aim allies, increase the duration of positive effects on self and all aim allies by 1 up to a maximum 3. So they are definitely making her one of the core components of aim, and that's where some of the changes are going in, is that she's really supporting aim heavier than she did. Retro vaccination, this is kind of the big opener, especially if your team's been a little slow and has taken some damage. Heal all allies for 2,000 health plus 15% of the character's max. Apply 2 to 3 random negative effects to all non-aim allies and all enemies. So, if you are all aim, then you get no negative effects. But that means you have nothing to flip, which is a little bit of a double-edged sword on the change. It used to be you put out debuffs, and then the next round you would flip them, and your team would hopefully be ahead of the game, where the enemy team is debuffed. You're now not just debuffed, but you're actually buffed from this, and you're now ahead of the game. That's if everything works the way you intend, and she's not stunned, or she wasn't slow and behind schedule, or the enemy team had a cleaner over there. So now that aim doesn't get the debuffs from her, at least, this maybe is a bit of a double-edged sword. It might not actually be a buff or a nerf, just kind of down the middle of the road thing. She, at orange, will heal all allies for more, gain 50% extra focus per each aim ally for this attack. So that's 200% extra focus. That is pretty solid. I don't necessarily know that it's going to land against the Jessicas and the Thanos Taunters and everything like that, but it's helpful, and it really makes you want to now put her on a straight aim team and not just a debuff team. Probably orange worthy on retro vaccination, but maybe not the first slot. Mad Science on spawn, change the speed bar by 10% plus 10% per aim ally, so 50% total, 10 and then 40. On turn, 25% chance to revive an ally with 20% max health. Aim allies revive with more health. On turn, grant 1 ability energy to all aim allies with a negative effect. Well, now that she can't debuff them herself, that sort of hampers this a little bit. I mean, yeah, they can debuff themselves, and we'll look at that, but I don't know. She sort of takes a bit of a hit there. Aim allies revive with 5% max health. So it goes up to about 30. On turn, grant 1 to 2 ability to all aim allies with a negative effect. So she goes up from 1 to 1 to 2. You're not increasing the chance to revive. You're just giving them more health at 30. And you can probably pick them back up out of the dumpster if they're starting at 30 and get them up fairly far. I honestly feel like Field Trials is probably your first orange, and then Retro and Mad are maybe 50-50 in the middle, and then Serum is your absolute last. But there's my hipster scientist supreme, who's been so decked out for a while. Here's Monstrosity, Villain Global Bio, Brawler Aim, Minion. You have Bash, which does defense down, which is pretty nice. Sudden Evolution. We've seen him do this for a long time. Attack the primary target for damage, gain offense up, and apply offense up to all adjacent aim allies. That is fun. Actually, let's take a look at the oranges. Always apply defensive down. Probably not necessarily worth an orange. Maybe towards the bottom of the barrel. Gain offense up before the attack, more damage to the primary target. That sounds pretty good. I would say that's fairly high for him, especially only when it's a 3 stack. On spawn, gain defensive down, 50% chance to heal, defense down for 1 turn. On turn, always heal more. Probably not worth an orange, I would say. Sudden Evolution, I think, would be his number 1 over there. But Growth Spurt's pretty solid. Keeps him going. I almost wish he was the tank in it, because he just kind of looks like the tank, but we know he's not. So, knowing that he's going to buff AIM allies, he should be away from Scientist Supreme. You're probably going to want to favor him hanging out by the Assaulter. Definitely the Assaulter, and maybe primary target. The Assaulter and Graviton, maybe. I don't know. I don't really know who should be his best buddy. And, you know, as you can see, we're looking at 6 people here. So, clearly somebody has to drop off on it. My guess is that it's probably going to be the Researcher. If you wanted to do a full good AIM team, it's everybody on the screen with maybe the exception of Researcher, and let Scientist Supreme be the support. However, for me, man, that's 5 red stars on the poor Researcher. So the Infector has Puncture. Attack the primary target for damage. Transfer all negative effects on this character to the primary target. 30% chance to apply. So, and a chance to apply a random negative effect to the target. At orange, more damage to the primary target, and always apply the random negative effect. I'm going to say that's a fairly high orange. That's what the AIM team does, is negative effects. Heal self, and then a bonus to it, changing the speed bar, dropping down to 3 energy instead of 4, changing the speed bar, gaining counter for self and adjacent, gaining 2. This seems like high orange. I mean, self-sustain and counter for adjacent AIM allies, I would say that's a very good one to give an orange to. On turn, gain 1 random negative effect, but gain speed, health. On speed, if offensive down, gain. So, wow, alright, so he's flipping himself. That's very, very interesting. It's, I wonder if perhaps they sort of took away some of Scientist Supreme's shtick so that you could insert Graviton in there, but I don't know. That's conspiracy-esque thinking, but I feel like SS was weakened a little bit over here. Maybe it's so that they don't get ridiculously powerful because they're doing a lot of this work themselves, but I don't know. So now we're taking a look at the security, which is Tech Protector, Takedown, attacking the primary targets. If ability blocked, attack the primary target for 280 damage instead. Chance to apply a slow. I'm not too sure whose ability block they mean. It could very well mean the security, because it is the level 1. Yeah, I'm going to say it's probably the ability block on the AIM security, not the target. Always applying the slow and major damage. So, the damage ramps up on this. Maybe this is somebody else that should hug the monstrosity along with the Assaulter. Charge capacitor, gain taunt, plus slow for 2 turns. We all remember this when we first started playing MSF, and this was somewhat of a common tank in PvP because of the taunt and the slow. It means you taunt longer. Healing self and adjacent. Wow, there is a lot of self-sustain on these guys. I would almost bet this is more self-sustain than the Kree. I could be wrong on that. If I am, definitely correct me, but my guess is maybe they're gonna just be able to have more survivability than even the Kree. I mean, here's a tank with just big self-healing, and spreading it a little bit. And it's not even regeneration like Luke. This is just straight up healing. At least they didn't take away that much of SS's healing, so... Oh, yeah. Immunization, passive. On attacked. Oof, God, that's terrible language. Jesus. It should be if attacked. On attacked if Scientist Supreme is an ally. They don't want to do double if. So when attacked, if Scientist Supreme is an ally, when above 75% health, transfer negative effect from self in each aim to... Holy shit. Man, that's good. See, and now this is where it gets schizophrenic. Here they are trying to get Scientist Supreme back into the mix, when it almost seemed like they were trying to kick her out of the mix. I mean, that's a pretty big proc over there. You know, being tied to a character, you really are going to want SS around if you have the security there. I mean, that's just too good to pass up. Alright. The aim assaulter. Submachine gun, attacking the target, chance to apply bleeds. Bleeds. Apply bleeds for 2 turns. So, we're looking at 30, we're looking at 50... It's only a 50% chance, but it goes for 2 turns when it gets there, and then the orange is just extra damage. Yeah, I know this is your attacker, but I still think that's fairly low orange right there. Hyperdose. Attack the primary target for 50% damage. If this character has a negative effect, bonus attack the primary target for 50% per negative effect on the target. Gain speed up. Damage goes up. Primary and secondary attacks. Damage up, speed up for 3 turns. Drops to 3. Somewhat orange worthy. Probably a little bit more orange worthy than the level 1. And then Juicer. 5% damage. Change the speed bar for self and aim allies every turn. Damage on turn. Yeah, that's your big orange right there. Lots of speed and self-sustain. And then you have the Researcher, which is support. Wounding Shot has a 50% chance to go to offense down, then up to 70, then up to 90. And then Always. I mean, if you're at 90, Always is a little bit of an upgrade. And, you know, some damage there. Surgery Drone. Heal the lowest health ally and adjacent allies for 300 health plus 10% of the max. 25% chance to flip bleed on the lowest health ally and adjacent allies. Okay, more healing. More chance to bleed flip. Oddly specific, but okay. Dropping it to 3. And always flip the bleeds. Let's look at Antidote. On turn, 10% chance to choose one random ally to apply one random positive effect from this list. If the ally is aimed, then apply 2 random positive effects. So finally these guys are getting some super synergy here. I would say the passive is your big orange. And then maybe Surgery Drone. Unless you're running Scientist Supreme. And then you're going to have Graviton in there. But I mean, even without Graviton right now, these guys are forming a reasonable unit. And if there's a self-sustain beats Kree, then they're going to be pretty strong. I don't know if they have the durability to beat the defenders in self-sustain. It's possible. Defenders, I mean, everybody tries to counter them nowadays. They still, unfortunately, punch up. Hi. Okay, 15 Lokis. Gonna be worth putting him back on the farm list. Alright, let's try to go for these Minister of Science orbs. We have 8. I don't know if we're getting there, but we'll see. Alright, 92 left. Okay, that's cool. 80 left. 80 left and 6. Alright, 74. Yep, alright. Yeah, unless I have the luck of the gods, unless RNG Yeezus is in my corner tonight, I don't see the unlock in this, and I really don't want to purchase a second round. That is a little much. Yeah, 50%. Yeah. Alright, so we didn't get there. Little over halfway. So let's take a look at them. Villain Global, Bio, Controller, and Aim. Gravity Well. Attack the primary target. That almost looked like the Dead Space logo hand for a second. I saw that and then started to comment on the ability, and my brain was going, no, go back and look at that icon. That looks like the Dead Space 1 hand. Attack primary target for damage. Bonus attack per negative effect. That's cool. Damage up. Damage for secondaries. Damage up. Alright. Straight ascension through damage over there. Also means he works well with Spider-Verse. Crushing Force. Attack the primary target and adjacent targets for 110%. Apply a slow up to +1 slow up to a maximum of 5 to primary and adjacent. If SS is an ally, apply bleed. So it's almost like they counter themselves with the bleed flips. Damage up, apply 2 slows, and then damage up on the 7. Doesn't it amaze you sometimes that you see such a big bonus to the level 6, and then the level 7 is kind of flat, and you're like, why aren't they putting such a good bonus to the ability up on the orange tier? I don't know. Maybe they just want to make it accessible, which is surprising. I would say maybe orange worthy. Probably a little more orange worthy than the level 1, but let's find out. Singularity. Attack the target for 100% damage. 50% additional damage per negative effect. That's going to get up there. Apply a stun. I wonder if it can... So here's where the Magic the Gathering nerd sort of comes out a little bit. And I'm actually not an MTG nerd, but just in my time of knowing MTG, I wonder where the stun goes in the stack. Does the stun go after the calculation or before? Because if it goes before, then it just counts. And that's more damage you can do. 25%. This is one of the few where I think just raw damage is probably going to be worth an orange. That really seems like it's going to get up there. And with the rest of the AIM people doing debuffs and everything, it's probably going to be big. It means he goes well with Mystics. It means he goes well with Spider-Verse and everything. Because he hasn't had any AIM interaction quite yet. So, you know, as much as you could say, oh dude, he's supposed to be for AIM, yeah, there's a couple other people you can start pairing him with. Now we get the AIM stuff. Kind of looks like the cartoon Baron Mordo over here. Very cartoonish Baron Mordo. AIM minion allies gain health. They gain health and damage in war. On turn, change the speed bar of the enemy with the highest speed, dropping it. Kind of shuts down like your Black Widows and everything. Minions get health. Not Scientist Supreme, because don't forget that. If you look at Scientist Supreme, she's not a minion. She was their de facto leader for a little while. But now I guess you could kind of say it's Graviton more and more, but maybe SS still wins outside of war. I don't know. A minions gain health in war when an enemy drops below 75% health apply. That's good. I mean, 75% health, that's fairly early, and if you're focusing a target, they're going to get disrupted very quickly, which certainly is good when you have high value targets that you need to get out of there. Like if you're going for crossbones because you don't want him to blow up, a disrupted is phenomenal for that. A little less like if you're trying to beat up on a Spider-Man at the beginning so you don't take a stun, disrupted is not going to do a lot, but it's going to be pretty good against like a Nick Fury team, like a shield team. Because if you think about it, with that 75% health and a disrupted, if you happen to have decent speed and can start pouring on some damage to Fury before the operative kicks in, he's not going to get stealthed. And he won't get regens. I like it. All aim minions gain damage. That doesn't really sound orange-worthy. I don't know where... I think, honestly, I have to go against my trend and say Singularity is his orange-worthy one. And just use it for the raw damage. But it really begs the question, who gets dropped in all of this? If you wanted to really get Graviton in your aim team, who is the person you need to drop off? And I don't know. It's very, very interesting to decide over here. I kind of would lean for the researcher. But those buffs are good. But the way the researcher is set up, though, might be good on a tech team. Oh, she's not tech? That's a little weird. I would have thought... Huh. That's funny. Scientist Supreme is tech, but none of the rest of the AIM are. Well, there goes my idea of pairing her with... Or pairing the... her researcher with Rocket for a lot of buffs on the team. Maybe... You know what might work for these guys? If you don't have a good SS, because honestly, who outside of me would, and your Graviton you don't have or you're building them, Minerva anchoring the AIM team? Let's see, 1, 2, 3, no. I don't know. There's just so many of them, and you honestly actually have to drop 2 of them. I don't know. That's very, very interesting to see what is going to be the ultimate... Holy shit, an Ultron? Down here? Oh, that's kind of ridiculous. I don't really know what is going to be the ultimate AIM team, because you actually have to drop 2 of them. And which 2 do you sacrifice? I mean, you could go balls out and drop the tank and the other support and just go SS, Monstrosity, Infector, Assaulter, and Graviton. That could be very interesting. But then again, you know, we have the same problem with the Kree, ironically enough. You can mix and match on Kree teams, and Captain Marvel can come in. She could go out and go to the Brawler. Minerva can be in there. Ronan probably should Korath. I have Korath stand in when I have certain blitzes where Minerva isn't allowed on because she's only a 3-star, so Korath tends to stand in, and you know, he does fairly well. Wow, this is a really obnoxious set, but okay, let's see what we can do. So what do you guys think about Graviton and the AIM reworks? Who do you think, if, let's say all things were equal, they were all at about the same level, all at about the same power, and you wouldn't have to decide based on those factors, who would you do out of the 7 AIM people? Who are your 5? Very interesting question. I mean, the good thing is people have been answering questions like that with the Kree. So here's that. I have to see. I'm gonna save that heal block. I have to see if Wolverine's rework is live. And I'm not like the AI with my Captain Marvel. I like to build her up a little bit more before I go into binary form. The AI always seems to binary right in round 1, which is super obnoxious because then you have all that AoE damage early, but her sustain in that mode isn't that strong. Actually, I should have done it there. I thought I was still hitting Hulk, but that's okay. This actually was not really that bad of a fight. Definitely didn't want to fight Ultron. I haven't fought him yet in PvP, mostly just because I don't really encounter him in Arena yet, and certainly not my blitzes. And I mean, I know he's down here at this low-ass level, but not prepared for the Ultron. Apparently there's a new comic coming out, and here's a spoiler. I read a little synopsis of a comic that is coming out where Iron Man tries to save Joe Costa and Janet Van Dyne from Ultron, and Ultron was going to merge the two of them together to be an Ultron wife, and Tony saves them, but he gets thrown in the machine, and he becomes like half man, half Iron Man clone that he might have been in this universe or whatever. And apparently, like, the ending panel is just like horrifying, this like kill me please Iron Man look, as he's half suit, half Iron Man. So I know for the Wolverine rework, there it is, the mention of the Phoenix. Attack the primary target. For piercing, apply bleed. Chain 3 targets. Phoenix is an ally. The primary target takes more piercing instead. If Cyclops is an ally, all secondary attacks have a chance to crit. Counterattack breaks this chain. If Psylocke is an ally, this attack cannot be counterattacked. They're really pushing the him being on an X-Men team over here. Attack the target for piercing damage. If Colossus is an ally, attack the primary target for 530 on crit bleed. If the max health is below 50, gain offense up. Almost Hulk-ish there. And healing factor on turn, heal for 15%. Gain 5%. Ooh. That's interesting. That's speed gain. You know, it's funny. This patch is all about taking the characters that everybody thought was utter garbage and just bumping them up into, my guess is at least B tier. I mean, I don't know how many of these. Oh, it's gonna be bad. Yeah, I knew that was gonna be bad. I think I will actually bump that up. And the reason being is I will show you the team that I have him on now. And we'll wrap up the video. It's funny that there is no mention of Storm in those. So this is my team that Wolverine has been on. It's an X/Hero Brawler team. I don't really have good defenders, so my Daredevil does not hang out with them. Ooh, that's a debuff heavy team, and that's the defenders. And this is obnoxious, so what do I go for? Do I go for the big heavy debuffs and annoying carnage? Defenders, no. Alright. Let's have fun with this one. This one's fairly predictable. So this team is a little dry on paper, but they actually get a ton of extra attacks, and their attacks can proc their extra attacks, which is pretty cool. That's a decent opening round for my Daredevil, but Wolverine's a little hurt. Crossbones is going down pretty low. I could do this now Yeah, I was a little afraid of that, but alright, no, he'll get Superman for the regen. And I'll just boot him in the face. Let's try this. See if I can get somebody low enough for Deadpool to get his regen. Why? See? I don't know. Maybe I messed that up sometimes with their taunt. I watch people... Wow, okay, this was far easier than I thought. So yeah, that's the team Wolverine is on right now. I don't think I have enough in my X-Men to build a team around him and move another brawler into that position. But that would be good, like a Black Panther, or I guess America Chavez. So there's my X-Men. I mean, Wolverine, Storm, they're already on the same team. Psylocke is somewhat in range. I don't own Phoenix yet. Colossus is just, I put nothing into him, so I can't really build a team around Wolverine's buffs right now, but potentially I can get Psylocke in there. They haven't mentioned Cyclops, but they don't haven't mentioned anything with Storm, who's probably been his ex-buddy, his only really good ex-buddy for a while there. So alright guys, going ahead and wrapping up the video. If you are a Marvel Avengers Alliance Redux fan, we should see some news potentially later today on that. We may have some stuff coming down the pipe for MAAR, but you'll just have to stay tuned to the channel to find out. Thanks for stopping by, guys. Have a good one.